We are going to do a review of the medical equipment niche in high-ticket dropshipping. This is a niche that gets brought up with me a lot, and so I thought it might be worth doing a video on how I research the niche as a whole and how that can be applied to other niches, and just kind of the things that we're most interested in here, and basically try to answer the question, would this niche be worth doing? Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you are new, subscribe for daily high-ticket dropshipping content. If you are someone that is serious about building a high-ticket dropshipping business in 2025, I recommend checking out my program. The link is in the description below. I'm recording this on January 27th of 2025, and by the time you're watching this, it'll be the 28th. And my new course, if you haven't watched my podcast with Lisa Whaley yet, our new course for high-ticket dropshipping in 2025 comes out on the 30th. So right now, if you buy the original course at the current price, you will be grandfathered into the new course at no additional cost. When the new course comes out, it will be more expensive. So if you do want to get in at a lower price point, I would say this is kind of your last chance to do it. So without further ado, let's kind of talk about what I'm going to do with my screen sharing here. And what this is really meant to kind of educate about is just useful ways to look into niches. So if we kind of back up a little bit and look at niches as a big picture, this particular niche that I'll be looking into has a lot of different product types, a lot of different brands. I'm not talking about like one specific product type. I'm talking about wheelchairs, mobility scooters, patient lifts, patient beds, that kind of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff within here. And we're going to be looking, I'm just using ChatGPT here, and we'll get to that in a sec to get us a nice list. And we'll go into SEMrush and get a sense of like the actual keyword difficulty with each one. And my gut suspicion is, let's take, for example, just the general electric wheelchair keyword. I bet that's going to be a pretty competitive keyword. But what we're actually interested in is not necessarily just the relative keyword difficulty of electric wheelchair. We're more interested in more specific keywords that include electric wheelchair, different variations, whether it's a branded search term. Maybe it's, I can't even think of a brand in the medical equipment space, but ABC company electric wheelchair. Maybe that happens to have a much lower keyword difficulty, but it has, 3,500 searches per month. And let's say maybe it's electric wheelchair with 3,000 pound capacity. Actually, you would never find that. Nobody's that big. With 300 pound capacity, that's probably a lot more common. But maybe it has a lot of search volume, but not a lot of keyword difficulty, not a lot of competition. It's those specific keywords that we are interested in. Because people like you and me, we're not in a position to just enter this space, this medical equipment e-commerce space, and just dominate it. That's not what we're looking to do. What we're interested in is the forgotten crumbs, the forgotten specific keywords that we can rank easily for and compete there, whether it's from an advertising perspective or from an SEO perspective. We're not trying to dominate the whole space. We just want a little slice of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I will click go here. What I typed in was, I'm a high-ticket dropshipping business in the medical/mobility equipment industry. Give me a list of 20 product types within the medical/mobility equipment niche with an average price point of $2K plus. Give me only the name of the product type, not any explanations. ChatGPT likes to give like explanations after lists, but what I'm trying to do is just copy and paste this list and put it into SEMrush. Power wheelchairs, bariatric hospital beds, mobility, yeah, all the stuff that we kind of expected. So we'll go ahead, copy all of these, go into SEMrush. Where I'm at is under SEO, the keyword overview. We do a lot of work in SEMrush in my course, and me and Lisa's course, by the way. It's a wonderful tool. We'll see what this brings up. Cold therapy systems. So what we're not interested in is really high keyword difficulty keywords. But what we're also interested in is intent. C means commercial, I means informational, T means transactional. And sometimes I don't think SEMrush necessarily gets this correct. I think hyperbaric chambers, it might be informational a lot of the time, but I think people will probably be typing it in with commercial interest as well. So as we go down here, standing wheelchairs. The lower the keyword difficulty, the better, obviously. This is on a scale of 1 to 100, the way that SEMrush does it. Generally, and the way that we teach this in our course is we're looking for anything with 15 or below, ideally, when we kind of start diving into things. But if, let's say, power wheelchairs, 23, which isn't bad in and of itself, volume is 2400. Once we get into more specific power wheelchair keywords underneath there, that's when we'll discover something with 1,000 searches per month that only has a keyword difficulty of 9. Pediatric hospital beds, very low keyword difficulty, but only about 110 searches per month. Bariatric hospital beds. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's like the less volume ones are the less competitive, which makes sense. So we're just going to kind of, let me duplicate the tab here. And what I want to do is we're just going to kind of start, we're going to look into a few here. Let's just try mobility scooters. That kind of seems like the most common one that people think of in the space. So obviously very high keyword difficulty. If you were to try to rank for this, it would be pretty dang difficult to do so. So over 9,000 different keyword variations, 180,000 total volume per month. But let's click into here and kind of see like what kind of specific keywords exist. So Madison, Wisconsin mobility scooters. So I don't know if that means like they're doing a local search there or if that's a brand. I'm not totally sure. Pretty much all of these are going to be very high keyword difficulty. Four-wheel mobility scooters. So this is something that interests me. Heavy-duty mobility scooters, four-wheel mobility scooters. Both of these, again, the volume is an estimation. But combined $1,400 search volume with pretty low keyword difficulty. So if we really made a conscious effort to try and rank for four-wheel mobility scooters, that's going to be a heck of a lot easier just based on the metrics than trying to rank for the main word mobility scooters here. We got to get more specific and more targeted, more niched down with what we're going after. So, yeah, and then we're kind of getting into like repair. We're not interested in that. Go mobility scooters, all-terrain mobility scooters, senior mobility scooters. You would think that this one would be higher search volume, but relatively low keyword difficulty. So as you can see, there's various keywords throughout here that are possible to rank for. It's just these really high volume, 15,000 per month search volume, these really high volume search terms that are just going to be a lot more difficult to rank for, and it's really like you're really up against it with a 41% keyword difficulty. At that point, like the same efforts you would put into that are better spent putting those efforts into stuff like this. I'll look at a few more examples here. Bariatric hospital beds. We'll give that a try. And by the way, when I'm looking through this, SEMrush, we're in the SEO section here in SEMrush. SEMrush is okay when it comes to PPC. Frankly, no tool is like outstanding when it comes to PPC data. It's all an estimation, and I've looked at it like for my own businesses, and it's like it's maybe sometimes in the ballpark, but often it's just not even that close to being correct. But I think when it comes to keyword difficulty, there's going to be a correlation, not one to one, but there's going to be a correlation between SEO and PPC as far as the actual keyword goes. Bariatric hospital bed, keyword difficulty 15%, which we're kind of like right at the threshold of what we consider ideal, kind of the upper end of it. Hospital bed, bariatric. I mean, we're getting into some pretty low volume here, but obviously very correspondingly low keyword difficulty. So a lot of different variations here. Let's look at power wheelchairs. Electric wheelchairs, power wheelchairs, power wheelchairs. Honestly, not as high of a keyword difficulty as I might have expected. From an SEO perspective, this particular keyword would be a little more difficult to rank for. I think in PPC or in advertising, it would be a little easier relatively to maybe try and compete right off the bat. Wheelchairs near me, that's not what we're interested in. Power wheelchairs for sale. Transactional intent, 21%. We don't want the word used. We would filter that out in Google Ads as a negative keyword. Pride power wheelchairs. So this is a branded search term here. 110 search volume, very easy to rank for. All-terrain power wheelchairs for adults. Again, we're getting into some pretty low volume stuff here. But overall, not awful as far as keyword difficulty goes. When you're thinking about like what you want to specifically try and rank for, it's a lot quicker with Google Ads, like let's say with search campaigns, to try and rank for those long-term keywords that maybe have like lower search volume, but it's super targeted. When it comes to SEO, you really want to find keywords that are worth putting a lot of effort into ranking over time. Because SEO just moves a lot more slowly, it takes a lot more work. And so you really want to find keywords, specific keywords that have, I would say at least 1,000 monthly search volume, and low keyword difficulty, 15 or less, to where you can justify putting a lot of effort into ranking for over time. That's just kind of my perspective on it. I'll look at a couple more here. There's obviously so much that you can kind of look into here. Pediatric hospital beds, geriatric chairs. We can try this. Geriatric chairs. All right, super low volume, keyword difficulty of 10. So not really sure this would be worth chasing after. I'll do a Google search and see kind of what comes up when I search it. Not really getting great results here, so maybe this isn't a keyword we're super interested in. One that I do know of is bariatric lifts, or patient lifts. Let's try that. Patient lifts. Okay, kind of a higher patient lifts. Kind of looking at higher keyword difficulty here. Patient lifts for home. Okay. Portable patient lift, 20. Hoyer is a brand, 18%. So not awful as far as keyword difficulty goes. I'm just curious to do a search to see what kind of Google ads come up. So really just two vendors at the top dominating these Google ads here. And we get into some more here, obviously. And I would be curious to look in SpyFu to see, just kind of compare some of these domains and see what overlapping keywords they have, how often they compete against each other, and like how many competitors are actually advertising in this space. That's kind of the quickest way to get those numbers. But obviously, it meets the price point that we're looking for in high ticket dropshipping. $2,000 plus. That's kind of the sweet spot that we're looking for. So when it comes to kind of making a final decision of like, is a niche worth your effort, or is a niche worth your time? I would say that's a judgment call for you. If I were in your shoes, I would do, before settling on something like the medical equipment niche, I would get a long list and I would see, okay, how big of a catalog can I achieve here? Because the bigger the catalog of closely related products, the more flexibility you have to pivot and the more specific keywords you have to rank for over the course of time. And I think there's that angle with medical equipment where there are a lot of different product types that you can compete in. That said, having worked, kind of built a store in this niche. I've helped clients in this niche before, get them suppliers, and I've actually run Google ads in this niche before. There are challenges that come with it, as far as like you can kind of get in trouble with Google when you're trying to advertise these things, because they think that you're trying to exploit people, that like elderly people or people in need. It's like one of their policies where you're targeting ads towards someone that might need this type of medical equipment, and that's kind of a no-no in the eyes of Google's policies. So that's kind of specific to this niche. But if we're just kind of looking at any given niche, and I'll do more niche review videos like this. This doesn't initially jump out at me as a no, don't do this, because there are there are quite a few keywords in here, different brands, different specific long tail keywords that you can try and compete for. And there's obviously lots of different product types that you could carry on your site and still come off as a specialist within each one. At the end of the day, you want to be, as a high ticket dropshipper, we are specialists, we're not generalists. And that's how we want to come off. So we don't want to go too broad. And we don't want to go too niche down to where we don't have the ability to pivot if we need to. So maybe instead of saying a yes or no with these videos or with these niche reviews, I'll kind of give like an A, B, C, D, or F grade. I would give the medical equipment niche a B to B minus. Having done a lot of niche research and going through this exercise many times, I just know that there are a lot of other niches out there with large catalogs, with plenty of search volume, that have even lower keyword difficulty than this. And I think speaking from experience, having had quite a few people go through my program that bring up this niche, I think it's kind of out there in the ether. It's not like this unknown niche anymore that nobody thinks of. And at the end of the day, you don't know if something's going to work until you try it. But in my course, Lisa and I go into a lot of different keyword research, a lot of different niche research. And there are plenty of niches out there that are less competitive than this, that have just as much, if not more, search volume on a monthly basis. So comparatively speaking, I would give this niche a B minus for someone that is getting into high ticket drop shipping and kind of just starting out. So I'm going to end that video here. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for daily high ticket dropshipping content. Let me know in the comments what maybe a niche that you want me to review. Let me know what you want me to talk about in future videos as far as high ticket dropshipping goes, and hit that like button because it helps me out a lot. We'll see you guys tomorrow.